You're listening to Alaska Real Estate Podcast. I'm Chris Story, your host for great adventures in real estate. Today, you'll meet the author of The Tao of Selling Your Home, a very popular blog series by Kristen Wheatley. She's a passionate realtor and my guest today on Alaska Real Estate. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Alaska Housing Finance Corporation. Have you been keeping up with Matt and Jen as they move from buyers to first-time homeowners? Well, Alaska Housing is promoting homeownership in your backyard. See for yourself at ahfc.us. Thanks also to the good people at Alaska USA Mortgage Company, a name you know and people you trust, serving Alaska all over this great frontier. When it comes to homes or investment mortgages, you can count on Alaska USA Mortgage Company. Online at www.alaskausamortgage.com. Please welcome my guest, realtor, blogger, Kristen Wheatley. Where are you, Kristen?
I'm in Auburn, Maine, in central Maine.
Been there a long time?
Actually, we moved here in 2005.
Oh, from where?
From Colorado.
Ah, okay. What brought you to the East Coast from the center of the country?
Well, I'm originally from the East Coast. I was a military brat, so we moved all over the place, including Alaska.
Oh, no kidding. When were you in Alaska?
We were in Anchorage in about 75 to 1970, 74 to 76.
Oh, okay. Is that Air Force then?
Yes, Air Force, right there at the base. And I've actually been to Homer. We used to do, they had really good clamming there.
Very true. Oh, that's neat. Wow, what a small world we live in. So now you're in Maine, from Colorado back to Maine, and you are with Keller Williams, is that right?
No, actually our whole agency changed last year over to the Maine Real Estate Network. So we're the largest independent agency, and actually the largest agency here in Maine. Maybe
about 3 months ago, I guess it was, I read The Tao of Pooh, and it's such an awesome book, by the way. If you haven't read it, I loved it, and would love to read it again. I did a little research, and I ran across a blog post called The Tao of Selling Your Home, and by golly, you're the author of that. So I'm just wondering, how did that come to be?
It was something, I've read the book as well, and it was just something I was kind of thinking about, noticing when I was with buyers that their decisions aren't really based on data or hard facts. Their decisions really seem to be more emotional in nature, and rather than doing the marketing and just trying to throw all these facts at buyers, it seems better since, Tao literally means the way, to create the scenario, in a home that you're selling, to lead them down that path to your home. So it just kind of got me thinking.
Oh, that's fascinating. I like that. So, so go to the source almost, which is the owner, the seller, to do the influencing by the way they present the home.
Exactly. And then there's multiple ways that you can lead buyers to that. The correct decision that the seller wants is for the buyers to choose their home over all of the others.
Oh, that's neat. Now, in the introduction, you make it a real point to state that it's not mystical. And why is that important to note?
Well, I'm not sure about in your area of the country, but here in Maine, people are really practical. They're not into different types of mysticism or things that you might find in other areas. And a lot of times that word Tao, unfortunately, gets associated with real things that people consider really mystical and unknown, when it's really more of a practical term. It has a very simple meaning. It doesn't have to involve, a lot of times people try to take a simple concept like some of the Eastern things and twist it into something, pretty obscure. Mm-hmm. So it's just more of it explains the whole concept better, and it really is a more practical term. Sometimes people are turned off by things that they consider, we're not going to burn incense in your home and hope that somebody will come by it. It's
right.
Practical in nature.
What's been the response to your blog series about the Tao of Selling Your Home?
Well, people have really connected with it because it's just, and I made it a series just because it would be way too long as one whole post. So it's easier, I think, to break things up into bits and pieces. But it's really hit home with a lot of people. I've gotten a lot of calls and comments and emails since it went out. Just because people kind of viewed it as a real clear-cut set of steps that they could take. And most people who are selling a home, of course, have bought a home at one time, so they can identify with what buyers are looking for. They remember that experience.
What are a couple of highlights from the post, or maybe the first part of the series, or something that would you'd like to share? Like maybe just one or two items out of that you think are important.
Sure. I mean, we kind of broke it up into making the buyers feel welcome, making the buyers feel confident about your home, and then making them feel comfortable. And I think when you really break it up into that, instead of getting into the long list that a realtor may give you of things that you need to do, if you can just focus on those three things, what can you do to your home to make buyers feel welcome? And sometimes that's as simple as getting a nice new fancy welcome mat that might cost you a whole $20. Decluttering the yard. When someone drives up to your home, does it welcome them in, or does it scare them away? Because a lot of people are going to drive by the home before they even come to see it. And those are simple things people can do, because it's usually a matter of cleaning up, which is the most important thing.
And I love the way you're framing it with welcome, because it's often difficult to say, by the way, your front yard looks like atrocious. So whereas if you say, and you reframe that issue to, let's make people feel welcome, that is really, really clever. I like that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, no, that's great. And the same thing with the entryway. And here's another thing that just immediately occurred to me, and I'm going to use that word, so thank you. When I have a client whose dog has to be at home in a crate, I'm going to let people know, rather than it's intimidating, it's scary, it's inappropriate, I'm going to say it doesn't allow people to feel welcome in your home when the dog is going apes in their kennel. Well, what's the secret, Kristen, if you don't mind sharing it, because obviously you've tapped into something, because I did find other people sharing your blog post, other realtors sharing your blog post. Clearly you've got some secret or something you could share with us about writing an effective and engaging blog to promote your real estate business. Because anybody can blog, but to write something that's effective and engaging that someone would reach all the way across the country to speak to you, there's something there. What's the secret?
I think the secret is really to find your own voice. If you enjoy writing, what is your writing style? To make sure that it comes across as you and not a canned post that is just information-packed. I mean, we blog to provide information to people, but if it's not fun to read, then they're probably not going to read it. So it's really finding the style of blogging that really fits with your own personality. For some people, it's writing. I happen to enjoy writing. I don't try to be too funny, because I'm really not I tell people I have no sense of humor. So I don't try to do something that I'm not good at. In my area, and people are very down to earth here, as in a lot of parts of the country. So speaking in a normal voice, as if you were sitting down talking with someone and just having a conversation, works a lot better than trying to fill it with a lot of real estate jargon. For some realtors, though, their forte may be taking photos. You can blog by simply posting interesting photos from your area with short little bits. You don't have to be a writer to blog. Some people may enjoy doing short podcasts, or they may enjoy doing little videos. Maybe they're just better talking to a camera rather than sitting there trying to write something. So I think it all boils down to finding what is your own voice. And as long as it sounds like you, then other people will connect with that.
I like that. So being authentic, being you, and that's all you were doing when you wrote The Tao of Selling Your Home. Well, that's great. How much time would you say or estimate you spend on social media a week or a month promoting your business? Is it something you dedicate a lot of time to?
It is an integral part of my business, but I'm kind of a techie anyway. I enjoy that type of thing, and I'm not really on social media for any other purpose other than business. But I've kind of found my focus has always been on business, but then I'm really kind of enjoying the connections I have with clients and friends, so you get the side benefit of that by being on there. I plan out my week on Monday, so I spend about a half hour planning out what I'm going to post to different areas. And then, I try to keep it to just about 15 minutes a day, but I have to admit there are times, because I do enjoy it, when I'm reading other things that I may spend more time than that. But I definitely am on there every day.
Sounds like a great plan. Do you still love what you do as far as being in real estate and helping bring together buyers and sellers? Oh,
yes, most definitely.
Yeah. Where can people go? Where would you direct them most effectively to read and enjoy The Tao of Selling Your Home?
It's on several of my sites. Probably the best one that I've organized the best, because I'm always trying to do different things, is The Unsold Home. So it's on theunsoldhome.com. And then our area of Maine here is called, kind of tongue-in-cheek, they call it L.A. because it's two towns together, Lewiston and Auburn. So I also have LAMaineRealEstate.com.
LAMaineRealEstate.com and theunsoldhome.com. Interesting. Now, there's probably a story there, too.
Put that together. Originally, had a lot of people with expired listings because of the blogging calling me and asking me different questions. So I put together a separate website with a lot of information for people who are having trouble selling their home. And I get a lot of questions from people in other states as well, but that's been really enjoyable. Because whether somebody lists with me or not, it's, you know, as an agent, it's really hard when you see a home out there, you know it's not going to sell. And you know there are simple things that could be changed that would really make all the difference in the world for that seller. So I did enjoy putting that site together with a lot of ideas for people.
Kristen Wheatley, thank you so much for your time today. You've been an awesome guest.
Well, thank you, Chris.
And stay tuned, because coming up on our next edition of Alaska Real Estate, we'll close out the year with your president, Joni Schneider. That's the 2012 In Review edition, next on Alaska Real Estate. This program brought to you in part by Alaska USA Title Agency, serving you and your clients' needs all over the state. Find them online at alaskausatitle.com. Sandy Ehrenman's your executive producer. For all of us at Alaska Real Estate, I'm Chris Story, wishing you health, wealth, and prosperity.